Welcome, everybody, to GameLusters. This is a podcast from GameLuster.com, and if you're new here, each week we're going to do a deep dive into a game or franchise that we love, or maybe we just want to talk about. So in a time where everything's horrible and serious and, literally on fire now, we've made jokes about the fire before, but the fire is here. We're going to try to chill a little bit. So, I'm Nirav, and I'm going to be your host, and I'm joined as always by my lovely co-host, Ree.
Howdy, and yeah, I don't know why you just said that we're chilling, because I think...
This is going to be probably the least chill episode, I think, that you could get to.
Like, not just because of the amount of guests we have on, but also the subject matter as well. We are going to need to check our blood pressure after this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just get this out of the way. There's been a scheduling error on my part, and I invited 3 people to this, 3 guests to this. So we have 5 people here today total. We're doing a mega episode, not a MAGA episode. The opposite.
The opposite of that, yeah.
The opposite of that.
I think it's worth saying that though, because
we're all mega, no MAGA. That's
thing is though, because of all the voices that Tim does, like that's another 3 guests on top of that. So this is a lot. Oh boy.
Okay, incredible. Yeah. So let's get into it. So we're let me introduce our guest quickly. So of course Tim is here from GameLuster.
War never changes.
See what I mean?
Huh. Tim, if you and Ron Perlman had a baby, that's what the baby would sound like.
You know what? He wasn't a fan of Trump. We could have got him on the podcast.
We could have.
Oh no, he's way too busy right now. Narrating the ongoing bullshit.
Oh, he's just narrating life.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Let's see here. We've also got Johnny from Real Life.
Hello, I am a real person, and I just waved for some reason.
Yes, we're all waving here.
We are all real. None of us are AI constructs. We promise.
We just absolutely don't have time for this today. Jess is also here from GameLuster.
Hello.
All right, that's it. Thank you, Jess. That was exactly what I needed from you.
Okay.
You delivered the exact right amount of energy.
Everyone,
all right.
Please take after Jess.
Okay.
Everyone, we're stepping to the Hall of Fame luster now. I think everyone saw that. So Elon Musk is now the richest person in the world, largely due to our contribution buying the moon from him.
I was gonna say
that's actually why that happened.
He should have given us a shout out at least. Our last episode was pretty good. He could have at least shared that in, as a thank you. But all right, Elon, I see how it is.
The thing is, luckily, we were able to recoup our losses with our $600 checks from the government to get us through this pandemic. So that paid off all of our debts. All of them.
I'm actually a student, so
every single
I
one.
didn't get a check, so that's fun.
Oh, so you get even more debt with even less sort of compensation.
Right, but to be fair, it's a pretty self-serving field, medicine,
You will never benefit our nation. This is disgusting. So today we're, just for no real reason, we're gonna try and come up with we're gonna enter into the worst coup attempt in video games. So this can be like any sort of a failed rebellion or uprising, anything like that. But I want to see what everyone brings to the table. I think I've got a pretty solid one. Let's start with Johnny. Actually, why don't you give us what you got?
All right, so I'm going to go with one that's more just a takeover, and that would be the Arkham Knight's just bat crazy plan in Arkham Knight. I don't know if any of you, I'm sure plenty of you have played it, but
I'm typing in Arkham Knight Bat Rebellion.
Yeah, it's just, and so basically, you're going up against Batman, who has infinite resources and only one rule about not killing people. And so you send an unmanned army that he can just go to town on to try and take over Gotham. And it's like, you just had you could have just put one guy in any of those tanks and it would have made him 10 times harder for Batman. But,
There's no way. Yeah, of course. Okay. Tim.
So I have a lot of these that I could go back up for, but I'm going to go with the Forest Owls and their various failed attempts to liberate Timber, all of which fail. What
game is this?
Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, okay.
Renoa specifically is just terrible at this. Because the 2 attempts that she plans to, assassinate or kidnap a political figure end in, it was a trap all along, and it was a trap all along, and now you're all in prison.
It's good to diversify.
Yeah.
All right. Good call, Jess.
Mine would probably be Bowser kidnapping Princess Peach, because he's done it how many times now? About 20 times.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, trying to take down the monarchy. Always fails, always tries the same tactic. It's just not working, Bowser. Pick something else.
Well, he's really just trying to conquer and add her lands to his.
Yeah.
That is a literal coup. It's probably the only literal coup we talk about, isn't it? Because he was trying to take over head of state.
In that case, it's an invasion.
No, I've got one.
Oh boy.
All right, Ree, what have you brought?
So I have gone with in Dragon Age 2 at the end of the game, the Templars led by Meredith take over control of Kirkwall. I'm calling this one of the worst coups in video games because they're running the place for about 5 minutes. Everything goes to shit. A church gets exploded and it causes a worldwide war. So I think that little coup attempt just for them to get a little bit more power, resulting in like a world war, probably puts it up there with some of the worst coup attempts. Oh, and the person that takes it down is this like fucking homeless dude who lives in a sewer. So
wait, what is this? I missed the beginning.
Yeah, out of context, it's wild. Yeah, that's Dragon Age 2. Yeah, just put that.
Wow.
It's a wild game.
I did not know what Dragon Age 2 was about.
I absolutely recommend you play it. It's a fucking wild game.
Okay.
What we need for our nation to heal is some crazy homeless guy to come out of the sewers.
He already did. His name is Bernie Sanders. No.
He may smell
and he is
that,
once
but
again
he's got
asking
the right
for
idea.
your assistance.
Yeah. And then okay, so for mine, in the classic critically acclaimed game Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh yes.
Black Doom, who is an alien from space, who's an alien from another dimension, but also a demon. He's a demon from space, basically, but another space, not this one. And when you think about it, it makes sense. But if you think about it too much, it doesn't.
So it's a Sonic game, got it.
Yeah. And then so Black Doom comes and he makes a deal with Shadow, and he's like, I want you to kill the president, and then I'll tell you where you came from, because I've given you amnesia, but I know. And so basically the entire game, I don't know if you remember, in Shadow the Hedgehog, is you trying to get to the president to either kill or save him. And also, I just want to remind everyone that there is a cutscene that shows that the president has a picture of Sonic and Shadow on his desk in the Oval Office, and he like lovingly strokes it, and he's like, "Will these heroes save us again?"
Do you think he looks at it and like gets confused over which one is which? You know, like every character in the series.
Like how the fuck? Like everybody's colorblind in the world of Sonic. Everybody.
Yeah. And they're all furries.
Just like the real world.
Anyway, this. So I don't know if you know this, but Shadow the Hedgehog has like 300 endings. And
it does. It has more endings than Fallout 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, in one of the endings though, Shadow does use a mech to kill the president, who was also in a mech, and become the president. So
yes, because that's how that works.
But see, that's one of them, and I think in the other 299 instances he does fail. So I'm gonna call that a bad coup attempt.
Hey, 1 out of 300 ain't bad.
Yeah, it's like the Avengers. Like Doctor Strange is like, there's only one way to overthrow the president.
Wait, hang on. Do you say, because I don't remember Shadow the Hedgehog that well, unfortunately. So do you say he becomes the president after killing the president?
I believe there's one ending where he like, I think he turns the United States to anarchy, where there is no leader, and then he like takes over. There is also one where I think Black Doom does become the president, and I think he is in the Oval Office.
Because, like, that would imply that if that dude who was dressed as something from Assassin's Creed Valhalla at the actual coup this week, like, managed to do anything in the White House, he would have, like, actually just become president. I like that, you know, that law. That was quite wild, you know?
If you can manage to kill the president, like, you become the president.
Well, that guy that stole the podium is now the Speaker of the House.
Yeah. He just got arrested, actually.
Yeah.
Wow, go figure. I wonder how they figured out who he was.
Okay, let's get going on this. So we'll start back at the beginning. Johnny, you get 2 votes, and they can go to any here, including your own. You cannot vote for yourself twice.
Oh gosh. Mine wasn't even that good. I'm gonna vote for.
What was Jess's law? Jess, what was your law again? Oh yeah, you can only bring 1 participant to the Hall of Fameluster. You cannot enter 2 separate entries.
I'm going to go with Shadow the Hedgehog because, I mean, you know, he is the leader we need in this time.
He's the enlightened centrist leader that we need. He's truly ambivalent towards good and evil, and he's ready to hear both sides in literally every stage. Like on one shoulder he has Sonic, like, come on, we've got to save all these people, and on the other shoulder there's a demon from space that's like, kill them. And he's like, what should I do?
That's not a nice thing to say about Tails.
You know what?
Okay.
You know what? Actually, this is disrespectful to the masterpiece that is Shadow the Hedgehog, because there are some levels where Knuckles will tell you to find something, you know? And that's an ideology all in itself.
We need to find the pieces of the Master Emerald. Knuckles, I'm trying to kill 600 U.S. police officers. But do you guys remember that, like, the bad guys in that game is literally just, like, the U.S. military?
Yep. And
Ahead of their
roller
time.
skates and a gun.
And you have a gun. All right. I'm sorry. I gotta stop. Where's your other vote going?
I'm gonna vote for Dragon Age for the Templar
That
coup.
one sounds like it sounds way too familiar to a real one that I've heard about.
I was about
recently.
to say, I mean, it's just such a crazy idea that, a grab at power would start a world war. I'm just glad nothing like that has ever happened or will ever happen in real life.
Good job. All right. Who's next? Jess or Tim? Sorry, where are your votes going?
I'm gonna give one to Bowser.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Especially because, like, half the time it ends up with Mario consoling him. Like, there, buddy. I know you tried to kidnap the princess, but you're a moron. Like the end of Odyssey.
Mario's the true centrist. He will play a volleyball with the enemy right after Bowser tried to kill him.
And the Forest Owls, because they are legitimately terrible at this.
All right. Okay, Jess.
I have never heard of this Shadow game, but I'm gonna have to pick that.
You've never heard of Shadow the Hedgehog?
I think it won Game of the Year.
I've heard of the character. What?
He only got one game as a solo character, and I guess you have heard how it went. So yeah. It was in 2004, I want to say.
Something
It was
like
still
that,
better
yeah.
than 06. It was still better than 06.
All right, and what's your other one?
Dragon Age.
Okay. Nice.
Ooh.
Well, we're getting down to the wire here. And then let's see here. Wait, who's left?
It's me.
I don't hear anybody.
Oh, what? Are you having a laugh?
I'm sorry. What's the thing? I'm taking the piss out of you.
Oh, okay. Very funny.
Also known as gaslighting in the right circumstances.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think I thought that the other day because someone's like taking the piss out of you. It's like, is that gaslighting? They seem like they do it a lot in the UK.
Right. Well, you see, the terms mean the same, and it's derived from the fact that you would take a piss on the gaslight and say, "No, I never turned the gaslight off. You're crazy."
Okay. Yeah, Ree, where are your votes going?
Okay, gotta throw one to Shadow the Hedgehog because you reminded me that game exists, but also, the coup attempt is so bad that in some endings he just gets fucking distracted, and in one of them he kills Eggman. Like, I feel like... Like, I'm fairly
Eggman just dies.
Yeah, he's just like for no apparent reason. He's like meant to be helping Dark Shadow, whatever his what was he called? I can't even remember what the ghost from space is called, but he's meant to be helping him.
Black Doom.
Black Doom. I call him Dark Shadow. So yeah, he gets so sidetracked he just decides to kill Eggman for some reason. There's one where he kills Sonic as well, I think. Yeah. Anyway, and I'm gonna throw one to Dragon Age 2 as well, just because homeless dude, terrorism, World War. It was a wild ride. Play that game, everyone.
All right, let's see here. Sorry, okay, I just wanted to double check my math here, or my that I was accurate. So, there are only 10 specific endings, but there are 326 stories that you can take depending on your choices. But they converge into 10 specific endings.
But that's still more than Fallout 3. So
it is still more. You're correct. I hate that I'm on the Shadow the Hedgehog Wikipedia page, and it's the genre says third-person shooter.
The Last of Us,
it is.
Battlefront 2,
platformer.
and Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Okay, so did I get your votes? Sorry, Dragon
No.
Age 2, and what was the other one?
so it was Dragon Age and Shadow.
Oh, okay. I'm doing okay over here.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go ahead and give. I'm gonna give one to Bowser. Jess, that was a very good idea. I can't believe I literally didn't even think of Bowser.
That's how bad he is at his Coup tips.
That's true. And then I am going to be the first ever person to get 5 votes in the Hall of Fameluster. Congratulations.
I would like, before we go to the enshrining, to mention perhaps the best coup in video games.
Sure.
Which is the coup in Metal Wolf Chaos, which is led by the vice president against the president, and then the counter-revolution, which is literally just the president in a mech suit, and this ends in a fight on a space station by the moon, and then the president surfs through the atmosphere to land successfully reinstated as president in the White House lawn.
Look, there was still a week.
I don't think I'm wrong saying this. Every good game ends with the president getting into a mech.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a week until Biden's inaugurated, so please don't give them
We
ideas.
got plenty of time to get him a mech. Okay, great. So welcome, Shadow the Hedgehog, and I think Black Doom. To the
Black Doom is technically the one whose coup has failed.
Yeah,
His
you're
coup.
right. That's correct. Also, by the way, the little Black Doom that floats around with you, I think is like the whole man's like eye that like peeled off, and then it grows tentacles and flies around with you.
Well,
But then like whenever it like attaches back to him sometimes, and then sometimes Knuckles is there.
And Knuckles.
you just described the best video game.
All right, so let's get into the main meat of this. We're talking about Fallout 3 today, inspired by some current events. I was interested in kind of getting into this. I think we've made it clear that we have heard of Todd Howard and Bethesda Game Studios before here, and we are tangentially aware of them. But yeah, I'm a huge Fallout fan. Maybe the most one, unfortunately, and that's not good for me.
Well, hang about. I literally have
Yeah.
a suit of power armor tattooed onto my thigh right now. So
Jesus, all right. I don't have anything tattooed. I am surrounded by Fallout memorabilia, and I did order a custom Pro Xbox controller in Fallout colors.
Yeah, well, I irradiated myself to become a ghoul, so top that.
Top that, smooth skin. All right, so let's get into it. So we're gonna walk through the history a little bit and then talk a little bit about the game. So Fallout, we're just gonna like go back to the beginning of Fallout 1 and 2 because it's kind of necessary to understand like where this game came from. So Fallout 1 and 2 were developed by a company called Black Isle Studios, which that studio was wholly owned by a company called Interplay. So this game was co-created by Leonard Boyarsky and Tim Kaine, and the publisher Interplay owned the Fallout IP. So again, these things are important to note for how things transpired. So Fallout 1 was actually a sequel to Black Isle Studios' last game, Wasteland, but EA published that game and owned the rights to Wasteland at that point, so they weren't allowed to make a sequel. So they basically stripped it of all of its Wasteland branding and iconography and added stuff like the Vault Boy and the Pip-Boy, and then like added some alternate history about the Resource War and the bombs dropping in 2077, all that. So then they decided to try and use the... do you guys know what GURPS is?
Yep.
I know Tim does.
General Universal Role-Playing System.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, GURPS is like supposed to be like the most versatile tabletop RPG system. Like you can literally... Like it's made to be turned into any setting that you want, basically.
It has like expansion for everything, including Discworld.
Yep. There's a lot of cyberpunk stuff in there too, which is actually... GURPS was... the Cyberpunk 2020 game was also tangentially based off of GURPS.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the period where, like, GURPS and Rifts were trying to be everything to everyone.
Yeah, and GURPS, by the way, if you've heard of Steve Jackson Games also made this game, GURPS. But anyway, it was a big deal for the tabletop game industry, and, like, I will say, like, after... the first, like, little explosion in the 80s of, you know, tabletop role-playing games, there was, like, a kind of a dip for a few years before, you know, GURPS kind of came back. And obviously, like, you know, in the last 10 years, like, Dungeons & Dragons has exploded and become, like, a household thing. But, yeah, like, GURPS was a pretty big deal back in the day when there were still, like, a bunch of, like, random tabletop games, like, floating around.
Well, GURPS was trying to basically steal D&D's
yeah, it was trying
market share.
Yeah, it was trying to kind of replace it as like the go-to, you know.
Yeah, and it sort of did.
Yeah,
but...
a lot of people still use it too. It's still a popular system. Anyway, so the original iteration of Fallout 1 was actually titled Vault 13. What is everyone's thoughts on that?
Banging title. I mean, there's a title. There's a Vault 13 in the game. I'll give them that.
You're right.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad title.
Yeah.
Little more specific than just Fallout, which I think works better for everything.
I think the Interplay execs actually were the ones who suggested the title Fallout. They didn't like the title Vault 13, and so the title of the whole game is Fallout: A Post-Apocalyptic Role-Playing Game. So that's, I guess it tells you everything you need right in the title there. So this is really interesting to me. Steve Jackson Games, like after they agreed to sell the GURPS license to Black Isle Studios, they recanted the license after seeing the demo of Fallout.
Which is so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that there was too much blood and gore and violence and they didn't want to be associated with it, which is like insane because like that's like half of their stuff, you know? I genuinely, I wonder if there was something else going on behind the scenes
also,
that we don't know about.
Just right now, just look at a screenshot from the original Fallout. It's really not that bad.
No.
Yeah.
I mean...
So this is actually what led to the creation of, like, the special system, you know, and had, like, that gave Fallout its own identity, literally just out of necessity, because they had to, like, they ended up... Like, first it was an iteration off Wasteland, and then they couldn't use any of that, and then it was an iteration from GURPS, and then they couldn't use any of that, and so, just literally by necessity of the law, Fallout was given sort of its own identity, accidentally, which I think is cool.
Yeah, oh boy, I hope that's not a thing the devs have to do again in the future. Foreshadowing.
Never. Sorry, Johnny, I think I interrupted you. What were you saying?
I already forgot.
Alright. That's good. So Fallout 1 and 2 came out in 1997 and 98, respectively. They used the same engine. It was basically just, you know, a new story with all the same assets and engine stuff. So they were able to get it out 1 year later. But at that point, the... a lot of this is foreshadowing, huh? So the team at Black Isle Studios was hard at work on another isometric Fallout, which was just titled Van Buren. While in development.
After the two spin-offs had come out. Meanwhile,
you're right.
Boy.
Actually, I'm so sorry.
They had their own
Fallout
Shadow.
Tactics.
They had their own Shadow the Hedgehog. We have to give that a shout out.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've always said that Fallout Tactics is sort of the Shadow the Hedgehog of the...
No. That is not the Shadow the Hedgehog.
Sorry, Brotherhood of
series.
Steel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It was Brotherhood of Steel.
You're
That
right.
god-awful PS2 game.
No, Brotherhood of Steel is 06. Fallout Tactics is Shadow the Hedgehog.
Fair,
You know what?
fair. I'll allow it.
Yeah, so they had 2 spin-off games, which were Brotherhood of Steel is kind of still maybe one of like the most critically panned games just ever from a major studio. Ever. But anyway, it was because of those 2 things and a lot of other stuff going on at Interplay that in 2002 Interplay declared bankruptcy. And like I said, Interplay at this point owns the Fallout license, and they also separately own Black Isle Studios. Black Isle Studios has no claim on the Fallout license. So Interplay Studios, in order to make up some of their debt, sold the Fallout license to Bethesda Softworks in 2003 for $1.175 million, but they did it in an advance against royalties payment, which I had to look up. Basically, that meant that like they were guaranteed they actually bought it for no money. So basically, Interplay sold the Fallout license to Bethesda for like $0 that day, but with the guarantee in writing that they would receive at least $1.175 million in royalties eventually.
I was about to say, like, Todd Howard out of the deal right there. Bloody hell.
Now, I know you think Todd might have brokered that deal. We'll get there in a minute.
He personally was there.
Yeah, so Leonard Boyarsky, one of the creators of Fallout, this is a quote from him. "To be perfectly honest, I was extremely disappointed we did not get a chance to make the next Fallout game. This has nothing to do with Bethesda, it's just that we've always felt that Fallout was ours, and it was just a technicality that Interplay happened to own it. It sort of felt as if our child had been sold to the highest bidder, and we had to sit by and watch. Since I have absolutely no idea what their plans are, I can't comment on whether I think they're going in the right direction with it or not." So that was like during the sale period.
That hurt to hear.
Yeah. Also, I mean, man, this is not the same thing as your child being sold. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, okay, obviously that's an exaggeration. That's not George Lucas level of exaggerating. Did you hear what he said about the Disney sale?
That they killed his baby? I don't know.
Oh, no.
What did he say?
He said it was like selling it to white slavers or something. Like he.
Oh my god.
I know.
Oh.
George.
No, George,
also-
Why
that's
did
the
he do
Hershey
it?
Corporation.
I often think about this also, like
No,
during
that's
the
literally.
during the filming of The Force Awakens, like George Lucas like consistently declined invitations to come to the set, like he didn't want anything to do with it, and like he did come to the opening night though, like when they premiered it, and he apparently was just silent throughout the whole movie, had no reactions on his face, and when he walked out, the only thing he said on the red carpet was, "That was the Star Wars movie that the fans wanted," but he said it so sadly, and then he just left.
Aw.
Oh.
Oh, he couldn't say that about the second two.
I mean, I
It
had Palpatine.
like, in
What else do you
retrospect-
want?
Yeah, like I don't know if everyone remembers that, but just like, do you remember like the giddy excitement of going to the Force Awakens, like, you know, and like
Take
getting
me-
that,
take
like, I don't
me
know, I went to
back.
the midnight premiere,
Oh,
obviously.
I dressed
and,
up.
like, dressed up like R2D2.
Yep.
I was. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, God.
But that like that was just lucky because that was just what I had been wearing that day. So it panned out.
Nirav spends every day dressed as a different Star Wars droid.
Just the droids.
You know what? I ran out a while ago though. I did start watching The Mandalorian yesterday though. So I have some more droids to dress as now.
Yeah.
It's good, yeah. I'm 3 episodes in. I'm liking it so far.
It's a fun show.
Now's the perfect time with it in the middle of the zeitgeist. Everyone's talking about it right now and not a month ago.
On the ball, as always.
Yeah. So, on the other side of this scenario, Todd Howard had been after the Fallout license for years. Literally since the first game came out, he had been on it. He had wanted it. And sorry?
I'm genuinely like shocked hearing that because I'm massive fans of the first 2 games, and I genuinely thought Todd Howard had not played them. Like
No, he was actually a huge fan. I've watched by the way, everyone should go watch the No Clip documentary about Bethesda Game Studios because they talk about this is where I'm getting all this info is from interviews from that. So, yeah, like Todd Howard talked about, he was like a massive fan of the first 2 games, and like literally from after playing the first one, he's like, I want this property. I want it. And
that seems a little
and then he
odd
flipped
to me.
the table and held his breath
So
until it turned blue.
I will say that like he wanted the license, but his intent was always to turn it into an action game. Like that he was like, I can do this as an action game.
Wait, so he
Like,
didn't
I
even
want
like
this.
the game. He didn't even like the game.
I don't know that. No, he loved it. He just like was like, I want to do an iteration on this. You know?
I love it, but I want to change everything about it.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Which is how I feel about Sonic. So.
Todd,
Which makes you
my
a Sonic fan, yes.
Yes.
Todd, I know you listen. Please replay the first two again. I'm begging you, please.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Okay, so at this point, Todd Howard had only directed one game, which was Morrowind, but that had exploded in popularity, and it had put Bethesda like on the map. Like before that, like Bethesda had, they'd been making games for a while, but they were like, shitty 2D sports games and stuff
The
like
Home Alone
that.
2 game, yeah.
Sorry, what? Did they do the Home Alone 2 game?
I think it was Home Alone 2. It could have been Home
That's
Alone
incredible.
1, but it was one of those.
We can't fucking...
Was Donald Trump
I was about
in
to say,
it?
we
That's
can't
how we can
escape
tell them
Trump.
apart.
We can't
Oh man,
escape Trump.
now I
in
need
this
to look
podcast.
this up.
I love that thing that I saw that article or new headline. It was like Home Alone 2 star Donald Trump banned from Twitter.
Oh, there's another one. It was like Donald Trump makes history as the first Home Alone 2 star to incite a coup against the U.S. government. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, so far. I've been keeping my eye on French Stewart.
They made Home Alone 1.
That's what it was. Dang it. Almost. We almost got it, guys.
Hey.
Almost. So, yeah, he was moving up to be a creative lead at Bethesda, and at this point they had started work on Oblivion, the sequel to Morrowind. So, when he like I said, he loved the games, but he had an idea of how to turn them into an action game. Like he wanted to, he had an idea on how to turn this RPG into like a first-person shooter, and Interplay finally went down. The execs at ZeniMax Media just like pounced on it, and where they were the first ones in the door, offered the bid, and they were the sale happened very quickly. And so Todd Howard mentioned this in the NoClip documentary. He found out that he got the license because of one of the execs like left a sticky note on his desk and said, "We got you Fallout," with the little smiley face on the sticky note.
Like finding out he's going to go to Disneyland or something.
We got
Yeah.
you a little of Fallout as a treat.
You can have some after dinner.
I think that's actually a quote from Todd to Obsidian, right?
Oh, yeah.
Don't.
You can have a little Fallout. So at that point, he immediately began pre-production on Fallout 3, but left that to his team while he finished work on Oblivion. So Oblivion comes out in 2006, and Todd Howard goes in with his whole team into full production on Fallout 3. So Fallout 3 ended up scrapping the entire canceled Van Buren game, which is, by the way, playable. The Fallout 3 that Blackout Studios was making is playable. There is a sizable, I would say, demo of
Yeah,
it.
it's
that
not
you can-
it's not the whole game. It's
Not
a
the whole
tech demo
game,
with
yeah.
a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah,
Oh, I do
but
just
you
wanna
can go check that out for free.
Yeah,
It's online.
Do just want to say an interesting fact, but Van Buren is actually technically canon. I might have said this before, but they mentioned events that were going to take place in Van Buren in New Vegas, technically making that demo canon to the lore of Fallout, so it's essential playing.
Okay. All right. I guess we're gonna do that then. Let's
Yep.
stream it.
Hey,
We're gonna make Nirav play Brotherhood of Steel, and then Ree gets to play Van Buren.
Wait, what?
I just want to know why they called it Van Buren. What a
Oh,
bad
no,
president to pick.
Yeah, not
Oh.
my favorite. It's nobody's favorite, but also nobody's least favorite
the
president.
thing is, like, that was the working title, and apparently they all were named after presidents, so I want to know what the other ones were
Yeah,
called.
actually, with that you're skipping ahead to our game, which is working titles, which is gonna be
Oh,
very
shit.
fun.
Whoops.
So, yeah, like Van Buren, like you said, is, I believe they call it semi-canon. Actually, Todd Howard has talked about this, because he's mentioned this for Tactics, Brotherhood, and Van Buren, and he said, like, those games are semi-canon, whereas they are canon up until a point where they conflict with one of the established games, and then they're not anymore.
Oh, so Star Wars canon. Got it.
It's Star Wars.
Until Todd says so.
Yeah. But yeah, to be fair, that isn't much of it. There's like small details here and there that conflict, but I mean, for the most part. Anyway,
the walk in
so
the West, it explains everything.
yeah, right, and yeah, again, that is largely due to the fact that like they stuck to the West Coast and Todd stuck to the East Coast. So
I was referencing Redguard, where literally all the endings, including the ones that contradict each other, are canon, and the explanation is warp in the West. We don't know.
Dragon Break. Man.
All right, so much of Van Buren actually ended up becoming a starting point for Fallout New Vegas when the former staff of Black Isle Studios formed Obsidian Entertainment. And so Fallout 3 actually used the Gamebryo engine from Oblivion exactly as it was, to the point that large sections of the map in Fallout 3 are just Oblivion, with like a slightly different skin. Which is, I think, interesting, but like that is what allowed the development to be finished in 2 years, like on Fallout 3, which like, is a pretty massive game, especially for back then. So originally they had planned to make the entirety of Washington, D.C., but then we're like, we cannot do that. So they scaled it back to half size because it would have just taken forever. I found this interesting because this is a design philosophy they kept in Fallout 4, New Vegas, and 76, which the exact same thing, which is that they lay out on a map where all the points of interest are, and in real life, and then they have the distance between all of them, and that's how they space out the map. And they've done it every time since.
Yeah, they play
Sorry?
fast. They play fast and loose, even more than just having the distance.
Yeah. I think that was how they get their starting point, and then Bethesda also famously has a design document where, like, for all of their games since Morrowind, they build the map first without any idea what the story is going to be, and they build the story around the map. Which I don't know, I think is interesting. Seems to have been working for them. Anyway, so Liam Neeson's here now. We got him.
And if you let the water go, that'll be the end of it. But I have a very particular set of children. No.
You only have the one kid in the canon.
Yeah.
I believe Liam Neeson was like coming fresh off of Batman Begins, and he was in Star Wars. I believe in the press release that Bethesda did, they identified him as Liam Neeson from Star Wars.
Highlight of this man's career.
At that point, Star Wars was the biggest title that he'd recently done because nobody expected Begins to blow up. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Taken hadn't happened yet, which is like, obviously very identified with him now. But yes. I have a fun quote. "It's been a pleasure bringing The Father to life and working with the wonderfully talented people at Bethesda on Fallout 3, said Neeson. I hope the fans of the franchise and the game will be excited by the results." This is a boring quote. What is interesting is that he actually was, he was given a couple of awards for it. He won some little awards here and there, and he actually gave like a little speech at one of them. But he actually got into it because his son was a fan of the Fallout games and was excited about, told his dad to like, take the job there, and like, so yeah, I think that's pretty cool. He was pretty involved with it. I don't know that, I worry that he may not remember it very well anymore.
I mean,
to my recollection of reading, it took him less than a week to record all his lines, and then just like, it didn't have anything to do with the project anymore. So.
He probably goes to a support group with Matthew Perry, just sort of getting over their experiences with Fallout.
That's quite similar to his character, really. His character's like quite a big thing in the beginning, and then as soon as he dies, that's it. Bye, Liam.
At least people remember Patrick Stewart in Oblivion.
Yeah.
Does he remember Oblivion?
I didn't realize that until I started playing it like a few weeks ago, and then like he talked, and I was like, "Is that Patrick Stewart? Patrick Stewart wouldn't be in Oblivion."
Immediately recognize him.
No, that's what everyone was like. Like, is that Patrick Stewart? Like, just the idea of Patrick Stewart being in Oblivion is so insane. Like, that's why my mind couldn't comprehend it.
I mean, Patrick Stewart is well known to slum it in roles beneath him. See also the X-Men movies.
Oh, okay. He was.
Oh, shit.
I enjoyed.
I'd say
it
that as a
because
fan of the X-Men, by the way.
Yeah, it's just, X-Men is sort of like Sonic of movies, to be honest. It's,
Yeah.
Why is that so true?
It kind of is.
And Wolverine is the freaking Shadow the Hedgehog.
yes,
I think
It's sad
Mystique
that
is
one
Sonic,
of the best
right? 'Cause of
X-Men
blue.
movies out there was made by Fox in the mid-90s for television.
oh boy.
Which one is that?
The Generation X made-for-TV movie pilot.
I don't know that one, but
No.
I believe
It's
you.
on YouTube. Give it a watch. It is hilarious. It has Matthew Frewer in it. That alone makes it in the upper echelons.
I like the one where Wolverine does seppuku at the beginning.
Real
Is that-
Steel,
Oh,
yes.
Is that the Wolverine?
It's a bold. I think that was the second, the
That-
Japanese one.
Yeah, the
It was a bold
Wolverine is
move.
actually one of the better ones. Still,
That's
That's
not
unfortunate.
saying much.
yeah.
So, I found an interesting note here. The player character's mother, Catherine, is canonically black. So that's why in the character creator, if you look, even when you're choosing a Caucasian complexion, you are still like a half black character. I don't know why they did this, but so Liam Neeson dad's skin tone, his skin tone changes to match whatever would make your character look like an average between your mother and him. So like if you have like your character's skin tone is halfway between your two parents in this game. I don't really know. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I don't know
So
if that's good.
if you jack the skin tone slider as white as you go, Liam Neeson turns transparent.
Yeah. It's bad because you've already lost him. It makes him that much harder to look for.
He's just he looks like an obsidian. I mean,
An obsidian?
No. I was gonna say a Ubisoft character where it's just the floating eyes going everywhere.
Oh,
in
I
the mouth,
thought you were
yeah.
going to say an Ubisoft employee.
Oh boy. Ooh.
They've got enough shit going on. Let's
I don't think
So,
they work
like-
enough hours. Is the problem?
So, like Oblivion and Morrowind, Fallout 3 was conceived as an Xbox PC only title, and it wasn't until late in development that Todd Howard was like, "All right, we'll put it on the PlayStation." God.
does not show it to at all, Todd. Well done. Flawless port.
Yeah, flawless. And Skyrim soon after, chef's kiss. I think I've seen a lot of sort of jokes about that, like with Xbox buying Bethesda. It's like, well, Bethesda has always kind of been Xbox exclusive if you think about it.
Yeah, they sort of really
I know what you're
have.
talking about. The bugs make a Bethesda game, and there were more bugs on the PlayStation version. Therefore, that's
got
the
a point.
definitive version.
That's definitive edition.
We
To be
got the
fair, for
director's
the
cut.
longest time, I only ever played games on the PS3. So my first experience with all Bethesda games was on the PS3. So it was mind blowing to move over to a PC and play them. He's like, "Oh, that was a bug, not a feature." Huh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that
so what-
entire thing where your dad goes missing and you have to find him, unexpected bug in development.
He's actually supposed to be with you the whole time.
Yeah.
All right, so this is hilarious. Bethesda's famous ragdoll physics were absolutely intentional. Todd Howard said, "I wanted to replicate the feeling of watching a car in Burnout spin out after getting hit and apply that to the black comedy and gross mutilation of shooting enemies."
Todd,
Maybe he did
my
understand
man.
Fallout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he might have.
You know what? He did play the first two games. I take it back.
Yeah. Also, funny note, Bethesda made a Burnout game. So he basically like, Burnout. Let's do more of that.
This man
Just
just
watching a
gets
car
But
crash.
this
Like,
time the cars, they're people.
And then he specifically made the giants in Skyrim just so he could have it on demand.
All right, so Fallout 3 was written by Emil Pagliarulo. I'm sure I'm not saying that right. He was the writer of Oblivion, and he said he worked as hard as he could to make every aspect of Fallout the complete inverse of Oblivion. he don't want anyone to know it was him, I guess. So Pagliarulo said that he used Fallout 1 as his reference for writing style and largely ignored Fallout 2. Because he said that the first one had more natural dialogue that he wanted to replicate, and the second one felt more cinematic and stylized. Which is a little bit more... You can see how the Fallout 2, like, cinematic, stylized dialogue, like, flows into New Vegas more.
Yeah.
When they come back to it. So it is worth noting that, yes, Chris Avellone was the writer of Fallout 2, and he would later go on to write Fallout New Vegas, in addition to stuff like Pillars of Eternity, Divinity Original Sin 2, Into the Breach, and Prey 2017, and then also a lot of sexual harassment allegations.
Oh, he didn't write those, though.
No, he didn't write the allegations. I'm sorry, no. I'm guessing he wrote some very sexual text messages.
I heard he was very influential on the writing, though. That was bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh boy. So, Chris Avellone is like kind of renowned as like one of the best writers in video games and just kind of a giant jackass. Interestingly, he was also currently until last year when the sexual harassment stuff came to light. By the way, there were many of them, like from many people over the years that just all came out at the same time, kind of a thing.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, what? Turns out that people in the gaming industry were suppressing these complaints? What?
Never.
Oh.
Well, I do just want to reassure Fallout fans that so far it looks like every other person involved in Fallout New Vegas is a very lovely person. Josh Sawyer in particular, follow him on Twitter. He's a good lad.
Yeah, Josh Sawyer is really great.
Yeah.
So, Chris Avellone was interestingly working on both Dying Light 2 and Vampires the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 last year at the same time and was kicked off of both projects.
Wonder why?
So, Vampires the Masquerade Bloodlines actually went so far as to write over all of his work and has cut him out of the credits entirely.
Oh, wow.
Bloody hell.
So, I'm thinking things were very serious.
See, Ubisoft, that's how you're meant to do it, you know? It's not that hard.
Take notes, Ubisoft.
If this, like, tiny team with a game that's, like, takes ages to say because it's, like, so many words long, like, you can do it too. You have the money.
There's a reason why everybody calls it VTM instead of, or just Vampire instead of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline 2. Yeah.
It's the worst. Maybe the only worst name is their other game, the Werewolf of the Apocalypse Earthblood.
Oh my god.
That's just words put together. That doesn't make a full title.
A lot of that is on White Wolf, because they're the ones who gave their name stuff like Mage, the Ascension.
Are they the ones who make the tabletop stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a ton of. Is that the World of Darkness? Is what
the World
it's called?
of Darkness? Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there.
And then there's the first edition and second edition versions, and they've all got ridiculous, pretentious names. And
wait, is this
all right.
Is this canon to Kingdom Hearts? Is this the same universe?
It's what canon to Kingdom Hearts?
Everything
is canon to Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Everything Disney owns is canon to Kingdom Hearts, which means any employee.
Yeah. I don't know how to say this name. Is it Enon or Einonzer? Does anyone know? I thought it was Enonzer. Was my guess.
I'd say Enon. I think Enon, yeah.
So he is the composer for Fallout 3, and he also went to go work on 4 and 76 as well for the music. But he actually said that Todd Howard and sound designer Mark Lambert did an equal amount of work on the music with him. I was like, wow, multidisciplinary Todd here. So he actually worked quite a bit on the composing music too. This was actually interesting. This was Enon Zur. This was his idea to up till now in most games, you would find that like the music would change in response to what the player found. He wanted the music to alert people about what they were about to find, which I think you can see in all of Bethesda's games. Like, the music changes and you're like, oh fuck, or something like that. Or if you walk into a place with something mysterious, you'll hear like, some mysterious music start to fade in, things like that. But that wasn't really the norm back then, but it sort of it's one of those small things about Fallout 3 that became influential to the whole gaming industry, So 5 DLCs came out. I don't know, has anyone played all of these? I've played a few of them.
Oh yeah,
I've not done
played
all of them.
All of them.
So we have Operation Anchorage, The Pit, Broken Steel, Point.
Operation Anchorage is easily the worst DLC in any Fallout.
I have played that one.
Not for the benefits you get
good.
for completing it, it would just be utterly terrible.
Oh yeah,
it was bad.
I didn't even replay it on my second Fallout 3 playthrough.
We have Broken Steel, Point Lookout, Mothership Zeta. So Xbox and PC only got the again for a year got the DLCs. With just no mention of the PS3 version ever getting it. And then Todd is like, fine, we'll make it for a PlayStation. Like, it does seem like they were sort of destined from the start to be bought by Xbox eventually.
Yeah.
In December 2008, they released the GEC to aid the already vibrant modding scene. So if you don't know the GEC, the Garden of Eden Creation Kit, is a, in canon, it's a... sort of it's the MacGuffin, basically, for like the first game, where it's like, this is the thing that's going to save everybody, we have to get it, and in real life, the GEC is basically like the engine and assets that they give out to people to use for mods, which is why, like, you know, like, Bethesda is really only, you know, a major contender in the gaming sphere today because of mods, and I will say it is partially their... Well, I mean, like, I'm not saying it's not, like, they didn't contribute to that. They've made themselves extremely accessible to modders. They've encouraged modders and stuff like that, you know, and advertised for them. So, I mean, like, they take some of the credit, I guess, for being, like, so open to that stuff.
There was that
giving
weird...
people the platform to play around in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then there's that weird period with the paid mods. That was a wacky
weekend. For, like,
weekend.
3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you liked horse armor? Check this out.
No, Todd. No one liked horse armor.
That's still going, so every time I log on there every now and again, they've got something new on the Creation Club.
Well, no, the Creation Club is different than the paid
Well,
mods.
it's still pretty much is just paid DLC.
It is similar, but there is a key difference. I'll get into that later.
It was their attempt to reboot it.
It was their attempt to reboot it and it is better than the thing that was there before, but it's still not great. So, Fallout 3 is out. Woo! It received universal acclaim, and by 2015, at last count, had sold 12.4 million copies, which was very huge for an RPG. Won nearly every Game of the Year award possible, and is consistently present in every top 100 list ever on any game site. I would say, like, after Grand Theft Auto 3 or alongside it, I would say Fallout 3 is definitely the most influential open world game. Like, those two games kind of cemented, like, what open worlds could be. So fans of the old games were very cranky, I think we've mentioned.
Couldn't be me.
Gamers cranky? Impossible.
There's actually a fan site called No Mutants Allowed that, like, basically, like, was a fan site for people for the first two games, and they launched very many online campaigns, like, to trying to get this game, like, removed, taken down, make sure nobody could buy it, etc., etc.
That's a bit much, lads. Come on.
Yeah.
It was a lot. They were like, this is false doctrine.
Wow.
I read some of these things in the forums. Like, I was like fucking up. Like, I was like, I need to go take a walk.
Oh my.
Wow, a bunch of gamers who are really upset about a game that's otherwise pretty critically acclaimed. Never heard anything like that before.
That's never happened, and it didn't happen last year either. Yeah, so I want to make some interesting notes here about the censorship on Fallout 3, because this actually kind of became a big thing. So the reason that drugs are called chems now is because Australia refused to allow the game to release if it even had the word drugs in it. I don't know what's going on there. Also, all the drugs had to be renamed to fake things, so, like, morphine was made into Med-X, etc.
But, like, what I don't understand is that if you...
One other thing that... No, listen to me. The Australian government also mandated, they said that it's okay to have the drugs in there as long as they're not called drugs and as long as there's no animation of people physically taking them, but you can still use them.
Oh, God. No, but also I don't get about Australia is that if you know an Australian, they greet you by saying the C word, but in their games, you can't shoot up some morphine. Like, what? I don't get Australia. Is it real?
Also, did they just, like, forget about that then? Because in Fallout 4, you can literally see people taking the drugs.
Yeah, I think they did forget about it later, yes. I think the times had just changed by then, and they had become a little more accepting.
I do like the idea, though, that if a kid doesn't see how to take the jug, even if they get their hands on it, they're not going to know what to do with
it. So this game was also not released on consoles, but it was released on PC in India. I don't understand how that happened, but it was because of religious sensitivity relating to the Brahmin cows, because of, cows having, a sacred context around them there. And I don't understand what that was, though, because I looked into it, and I was like, why is that a problem? And no one had an answer for me.
I think it might have literally just been because they were called Brahmin.
Probably, yeah. And Brahmin are, like, the highest caste in the caste system in India, like the priest class.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that was the issue. Maybe some powerful people were just like, don't make us cows. Except maybe they but shouldn't they have been like, make us cows because cows are good? I don't know. And then in the Japanese version, all references to the fact that there were ever bombs have been removed from the game. The megaton is removed. There's no bomb at the end of the game. There is no reference to explosives or really any radiation of any kind.
Well, that makes the game a little bit easier.
Is it really post-nuclear, or are you just in a really shit neighborhood? I mean,
what is it about then?
I mean,
well,
it's
Japan. I mean, people in Japan are perhaps, maybe rightfully so, a little sensitive about a post-nuclear world.
But I just
on the other hand, Akira. On the other hand, their entire many genres of post-apocalyptic cyberpunk stuff. I mean,
yeah.
One of their most famous, Ghost in the Shell is literally, oh yeah, so we got nuked again, but we're doing fine.
We're doing okay.
Maybe
we created nanomachines to deal with it.
I just like to think that because they took out all references to it being post-apocalyptic, there might have been kids playing this in Japan just thinking that's what America and Washington was like.
And I mean, they weren't wrong.
No, I mean they probably saw the news this week and went, oh, so it's just a normal day.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, we're the green ones, though. The big green ones.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a giant one in the Capitol, right?
This is a calm day in Washington, Like, why is everyone freaking out?
Yeah. So, so let's talk about this. If somebody were listening to this and hasn't played Fallout 3, what would you do to sell someone on it in 2020? Oh, but God, it's 2021. Jesus Christ.
We're 1 week in, boys.
Yeah. It's been 1 week.
No.
So, yeah, what would you guys say?
It's an open world game where the plot is that you have to find the dad from Taken because he's been taken.
He took himself.
Yeah.
That's the
And then
twist.
somebody else took him. Yeah. He took himself and somebody took him further.
This is an educational game set in present-day America.
If anyone genuinely hasn't played it, I mean, Fallout 3 is an RPG with a lot of elements of classic RPGs, but turned into a first-person shooter, and the shooting is bad, and everything else is pretty good. I liked it. So,
but there's mods for that.
Yeah.
There's mods for everything.
Oh, play it on a PC and get the mods. They're amazing.
Yeah.
mod up, my boy.
Do not under any circumstances play it on PS3. I mean, I did that, and it was good enough. Actually, I want to try and sell it to my fellow toxic Fallout fans who go on all the time and get into many internet fights defending New Vegas' honor. But I am going to stand up for Todd Howard here. How I enjoyed Fallout 3 is that I did New Vegas, I did the first 2 games, I did 4, and then I sort of just viewed Fallout 3 as this cute little side game, like almost like a DLC or something to New Vegas, which makes no sense because it came out 2 years before, but I found that after viewing it like that and not expecting like this amazing RPG experience, I had a whole lot of fun with it. It's a really fun game just to wander around and find stuff, because I love Fallout 4, but in that there's like less of random encounters, like exploring, finding stuff. It's more about creating your own fun. Whereas this, they keep most playthroughs fresh, not by having like multiple ways to do every quest. I mean, there's a few, but mostly just through random encounters, which like people who've put hundreds of hours into Fallout 3 still probably haven't seen all of. So yeah, just go in for a fun, wacky time with Liam Neeson as your dad. You know, you don't really you don't want much else.
Yeah, the whole thing I tell people to do is like, and this kind of game isn't for everybody, but like when you get out of the vault, just walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pick a direction, walk.
Just pick a direction and walk. That's it.
If the plot is telling you to go somewhere, don't
ignore the
It'll
plot.
be there.
Yeah, I get so fucking angry whenever people in like an open world RPG just like better go to the place they told me to go now.
Oh, yeah, no. So when I first played Fallout 3, I saw the plot. I saw it was in one direction. I immediately headed to the farthest end of the map that I could away from it. And eventually, when I came back to Megaton, I came right up to it, saw that there was a prompt where I could disarm the bomb, and did it. Because I had leveled up my science that far that it was, let's just disable the nuke.
I love that they like put in. So one thing they do with these games is they do put in the legwork to like have every iteration of like what order you could do everything in, and like have it have different consequences and stuff. So like one interest. This is about Fallout 4, but just for an example, like if you actually go to if you ignore Preston and the whole Minutemen and you never interact with them,
as most
and then
do,
you do the and you go to you don't rescue them from Concord or anything, and then you go to do the rest of the game, and then you go to Nuka World and do the Raider stuff and become the Raider overboss and come back as a Raider. There's actually an entirely new like set of dialogue and quest lines with Preston, like about a war with the Minutemen to take over the Commonwealth with you as a Raider King.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Also, that's one of the ways where you can become the overboss, ally yourself with them, and then finally go back and talk to him, and then he'll still be your friend. Because they've got it coded in that game that he won't be your friend if you become the overboss. Which, you know, you'd think he'd understand the idea of, it's an inside job, Preston.
So I want to talk about some of our favorite like moments, and like mine. I think I'll go with mine specifically was Andale, because I remember just like walking, and then I saw like this neighborhood of like nice pristine houses, and like I was like, okay, and I like walked up, and there's like, you know, these nice gardens and white picket fences, and I was like, what's going on in here? And like, you know, it was like the 50s, right? Like they're all like, you know, in the like, you know, the ladies were like the rockabilly, you know, look and all that, and then there's like the one like, you know, grandpa who's like, get out of town, stranger. Oh no, they're gonna hear us. Hey, everybody!
Yeah.
And like, I remember like the real, like, genuine creeping horror of like walking around and talking to people and like slowly realizing that they were like gonna eat me, you know? And like finding like the shack with the bodies in it and everything, and like, man, I still think about that as one of my favorite things. And like, that's the kind of stuff that like I don't think you get in other open world RPGs. Like, you don't just come across that accidentally in other games. Like, you know, yeah, do you guys have any sticking points for you for this game?
Mine was the vault where you find forks, because when I played it, I was quite young and I didn't realise the origin of the super mutants, or I can't remember the called, you know, the slugs with the hands.
The centaurs. Oh.
Yeah. And like, it was whilst I was going through that vault and I was reading through the terminals where I like suddenly realised, and I had this like horrible realisation of what they were. I was like, oh no.
I remember going through that too, like realising they were people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, Fallout 3 wasn't my first one, so I already knew about the people thing, but seeing some of their the records on the experimentation was pretty awful there. My favorite though was the Dunwich building.
What was in there again?
The horrible Dunwichy stuff, like the
the Dunwich horror.
The
Yeah.
H.P. Lovecraft building.
Yeah. The Lovecraft HQ. Yeah. And then there actually is a sequel to that in Fallout 4, by the way, Dunwich Borers.
There's
Yes,
also
and
a sequel in the
there's-
Point Harbor DLC.
Yeah, and there's some stuff in 76 as well.
Okay. Yeah, so let's see. Oh shit, we're already an hour in. We got to keep moving. So, did any, like, characters and quests or specifically stick out to you? Like, I know we've mentioned Fox, who I really love. Obviously, Dogmeat is very good.
It's a good
You
boy.
know, no one's going to mention him, but we have to establish that Butch is the best companion. No one agrees with me, but you're just afraid of the truth.
Tunnel
Snakes rule. Listen to me. Listen to me.
You know what?
I killed his.
You killed his what?
I killed his mom because he bullied me.
You can't have killed him because tunnel snakes rule.
Is that how you
Impossible.
deal? That's not how we deal with our bullies. You don't murder their parents.
But
That's
you
bad.
stole my sweet roll? Well, I hope you didn't care too much about your mom.
When I was playing yesterday, Tim was there with me in the stream. I was looking at. I didn't realize that you could actually give Butch your gun, and he would just like run in to save his mom with your BB gun, and then you could just leave him there.
Yeah, no. You can totally give him your gun and just leave him to fend for himself. So also, speaking of your stream, Uncle Leo.
Ah, yes.
Who is a great character, who you'd apparently never seen, but on...
I never met him.
Yeah, we encountered him the moment we left Vault 101, which was hilarious.
He's a rare one, but he's an absolute highlight. I love him.
He did die. He did die in the playthrough yesterday. He was killed.
It'll happen.
Oh no.
What?
He was my companion.
Yeah,
he got killed.
Nirav had a recruit everybody mod on and recruited him.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, that makes sense actually with Uncle Leo.
Yeah.
You know,
He wasn't very good at fighting.
Yeah, he's a pacifist. I think I told you that the moment he showed up.
I just want to give another shout out to a bit of the game to convince the other New Vegas snobs that there's. Oh God, what is it? It's the quest with the tree dude, and he's got
I was
the
about to
tree.
say Harold.
Oasis.
Bob,
Oasis.
Yeah, honestly, because
Yes, very good.
He is a character in the first two games. He's actually quite a big character in the first game because he is very, very much tied to the origin of the super mutants. He was friends with the first super mutant, or the Master.
Yes.
So he
has a little shrub growing out his head.
And he does. And honestly, that was an absolute highlight of the game, finding that and realizing, hey, Todd does care about the other games. That's cool. But it was just, like, all in all, it's just a quest, weirdly good quest, because you walk into this town, and there's a bunch of hippies there, and there's some grass, and it's all cool. And then you go up to this talking tree, and you're like, hey, what's the talking tree gonna say? And he asks you to fucking murder him, and you're like, what? That sucks.
That was a really good one. Oh, also the Tranquility Lane was a very cool place.
That was,
where you go into the simulation, and oh man, there's so much cool stuff in this. Like and then what's the slave city? Paradise Falls.
Oh,
Paradise Falls,
yeah.
The one that I razed to the ground in every playthrough.
Yes, that's what I think everybody. I was about to say like that. That's one thing I consistently have to do is like kill everybody in there because it's so horrifying.
I make a point of killing them all stealthily, leaving the bodies around, watching them panic, and then killing another one as soon as they calm down.
All right, Tim, that's you on some sort of watch list.
Yeah.
Listen, you fuck with children, you enslave them, you die.
Okay, you know what?
So,
you're now off that watch list. Well done.
Yeah.
Let's get Mario the centrist.
It takes so
in here
little to get off the
win.
list. So how did everybody feel about the original ending for this? I know
This
it's
is not
famously...
for me to do, because the writers did not think of that.
I will say,
okay.
I wasn't actually that upset when I first played it because I was pretty young and I was playing it on the PS3, so I was just kind of happy that it worked for an hour straight. And
on the PS3, it working for an hour straight is the canon ending, yes.
And then I didn't even register in my brain. Oh wait, the super mutant's like immune to radiation, isn't he?
And you have
see I would say that like thematically I liked the ending, but the fact that I like most people, like I found out about that and I brought Fox there with me and thought like, oh, I'm so clever, now he can just go in and instead of me and we'll be okay. And he's like, it is not my destiny.
It would have been nice if they gave like, I don't know, like you confront Colonel Autumn and he like shoots your companion or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe just to give
a
reason why Fox can't go in because he's dead, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if they had railroaded it so you were already in when it locked, But, the point was originally it was supposed to be either you sacrificing or you sacrificing, whatever her name is, Lyons.
Sarah Lyons.
Yeah. But having multiple companions completely immune to radiation, just,
That's the thing, there's two of them. There's fucking... I can forgive, forgetting about Forks, but, Sharon as well. How do they forget about both?
They did. I don't know what they forgot, but because the Broken Steel DLC came out, and then you could do that,
Yeah.
But for a good while, I don't know.
But even in the fixed one, where you do tell your radiation immune companions to go into the radiation for you so you don't needlessly die, you still get the ending slide that calls you a fucking coward. Why?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to needlessly
die.
The
Lone Wanderer was remembered as a coward for all time.
You know that lone wanderer that wiped out slavers from the wasteland, saved thousands of people? Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, he didn't pointlessly irradiate himself when
when a blonde woman asked him to very nicely.
Yeah. Instead, he sent in somebody who was better equipped to the job and would have, been perfectly capable of doing it.
And wouldn't die.
Yeah.
So I was remembering my time, just because of recent events, I was remembering my time storming the Capitol, and
have fun storming the Capitol.
It's much harder in the game, I will say.
I think there's 6 super mutants in the Capitol, and it's still much harder than it was in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them is a giant, so whatever they're called.
Behemoth.
Are they actually
Behemoths.
called Behemoths? That's right.
Behemoths, yeah. Attack on Behemoth, yeah.
Look,
so,
well, obviously the Secret Service didn't have long enough to get them out of, area whatever, and then deploy them.
They have Fox under the Capitol.
Look, they were almost there, but they lost the keys, so, yeah.
God. Alright, so, thinking back to, how Fallout 3, and I guess New Vegas as well, kind of that era there, what of that stuff does everyone want to kind of see back for Fallout 5, and, what kind of stuff do we not want to come back?
Well, I want them to keep iron sights. Don't go back to the Fallout 3,
Please.
Just zooming in.
Yeah.
I beg.
I would actually like to see more, rogue factions in the Brotherhood, assuming that we're going to stay on the East Coast away from the primary group of it, because, there's fun in going, screw you, we're taking this power armor and going home. More VR fun. I mean, they had some of that in 4, but, fun this time.
Yeah, but, do it fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Move the blocks! Move the blocks?
Yeah.
I think what I want
Move them and you'll remember! What?
I don't know how to say this without sounding really cringe. I'm just gonna say it. I want the Fallout games to be a bit, edgier again. Oh, that sounds so bad.
Oh, you want more of that Shadow the Hedgehog energy.
I want that, PS2 Brotherhood of Steel energy.
I want it to be depressing when I go through the wasteland and not so it's just the 50s but made out of garbage. That's fine, I guess.
Yeah, literally.
Well, the thing is, you can understand that after 200 years after the bombs drop, society will have rebuilt some. So
yeah, I get that.
They kind of want to have it both ways is the problem.
The problem is
they want it to be just after it dropped, but also 200 years after it dropped.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why I really like Fallout 2 and New Vegas, because they have actually moved on a lot. I mean, especially from Fallout 1 to 2, there's a lot of changes. Everyone's just generally more connected.
I will say it's
problem
also... Sorry.
No one's brushed the floor yet, though. No one's bothered to sweep the floor since the bombs dropped.
I've
been waiting for that to happen.
They shed. We'll get to it in a moment.
I was sorry.
So in Metaton, they've lived there for fucking ages, and so there's old people there who have lived there for decades, and at no point have they thought, I might fix the hole in the wall. Why not?
They're so lazy.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Is that they want it to feel simultaneously like it's the bombs just dropped and like it's always been that way, and like you can't do both and keep it consistent. I agree. I will say that I think that is one of the major benefits of the map in Fallout 76, though, is that like the bombs did just drop and everyone left, and literally nobody's touched any of this world for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
And like nobody dropped the bombs on. I honestly like, and I will say like very openly, like Fallout 76 has the best map in any of this series, like for sure. It's beautiful, like, and like because nobody, I don't know why, like I just like this having a post-apocalyptic wilderness where there are like vibrant animals and trees and like clean water everywhere is like way more interesting to me than like more brown rocks.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, it was brown like, the rocks bombs in the original because they were out west.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
And then they just thought that, no, that's what Fallout looks like for 3 and 4.
Well, I will say for that, I will say to their benefit on that, for the reasoning on Fallout 3 and 4 is because, like, this is sort of, the whole aesthetic is based on the whole, like, you know, the retrofuturism thing. Like, the idea of the apocalypse back from the 50s was this, you know?
Sort of. But yeah, no, I like, get what you're saying.
It is a little weird
like,
that the DC swamp became a desert, though.
Yeah, it is a little weird.
Well, and only part of it because Point Lookout is still lush and verdant.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just such, and I would recommend this in the future. Like, the fact that 76 like takes place somewhere where there was not a bomb dropped is a good thing, and I would like for them to continue that in the future. I don't think that the like quote unquote like, you know, dead irradiated, because like that's. Okay, like Breath of the Wild is a good example of what like the world would really look like if there was an apocalypse and then you waited 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, definitely. Like people generally don't like to live in trash for ages.
Right, like in most like in the cities have rebuilt themselves. People are living in like fairly nice places, and outside of that, nature has like overtaken all the ruins, and it's like, okay, it's, you know, that's how things work.
And there's still some stuff that's in really good condition, if not for the fact that. You know, there's in Breath of the Wild, there's something actively preventing reclamation of those places. People would have reclaimed them, and I think there needs to be a little bit more of that in Fallout.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We do have a lot of ghouls, though.
We do.
True.
Lots of ghouls. So let's, I guess coming off of ghouls, let's go to ghosts. Are there enough ghosts?
I mean, just Tranquility
There
Lane.
aren't any ghosts.
What?
Tranquility Lane? That might
No,
count.
that's not really.
You know what? Well, there's explicitly a couple in the Dunwich building.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember where else there might be. In the hallucination vault.
Over.
Where you see the echoes of the past.
Echoes of Dave. What's that? What's the vault where everyone's named the same
Gary.
thing?
Gary.
Gary.
Echoes of Gary. Thank you.
It's the Republic of Dave.
Oh, there's the title episode.
I mean, you could call like all the voice messages and stuff ghosts.
Yeah.
I was about to say my ghost.
They're like echoes in the past.
A very pissed off ghost after the original ending. It's haunting Fox, saying like, "I can't believe you made me do that."
It's not my time!
I thought it was pretty funny.
Also, are you like 16 years old or something?
I think I left something in the car! I'll be right back!
I can't get irradiated, not in this suit. I'm not dressed for it.
His torn vault suit with the frickin' Hulk pants.
Yes, he needs to put on his tuxedo. You always wear a tuxedo to be irradiated.
Yeah, it's a radiation suit.
Learn this, you know.
Know the law!
Yeah. Well, you're so culturally insensitive to super mutants. Just because they're eating you, that's no excuse.
Okay, let's get out of here for a minute.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
It is time for games, so we're gonna have some fun here. As a tribute to the Van Buren working title of Fallout 3 in its original iteration, I've worked very hard to find these, but I've collected some working titles for famous video games, and I'm gonna give them to you, and you guys are gonna guess what the eventual final name of the game was.
Right.
Oh boy.
So I ordered them so they get a little more. They get more insane as they go down. So just be ready. All right. This one you might know. Attack of the Attackers.
Oh, man.
And these are all well-known games. You have heard of all of these.
Attack of the Attackers.
XCOM.
I've got no bloody clue.
Yeah.
Attack of the Attackers would eventually be called Doom.
That makes sense. They should have just left it as that title.
Yeah,
or
honestly.
at least had a level named that.
All right. How about Blam! Exclamation point.
Oh, God. Sonic
Quake?
06.
Blam!
And Knuckles.
Blam. Okay. Blam actually eventually became Halo.
I can't believe that's what they called the rings originally.
Did you guys?
Blam's
Did you guys
better.
play
It's the
Blam
Blam
ODST? It was better than I thought it would be.
I now propose that we just refer to everything in that series as Blam. So in Blam, they go to the Blam and they activate the Blam.
How about Intruder? This one you might get.
Thief?
Intruder. No?
No?
That's a good guess.
Hitman.
Rainbow
No.
Six.
A little earlier. It's an earlier game.
Metal Gear?
Metal Gear. Nice. Yeah. Metal Gear was called Intruder. How about this one? Virus.
Is that
was that Last of
Resident
Us?
Evil.
/ Resident Evil.
Nope.
Is that
No?
The Last of Us or not?
Nope.
Well, Last of Us was a fungus, so that wouldn't make any sense.
System Shock?
Oh yeah.
It's not System Shock.
No.
This is also an earlier game.
Fire.
It's that Flash game, Pandemic 2.
All right, Virus would actually eventually be called Dr. Mario.
What?
It was just called Virus, yeah.
He better not be prescribing antibiotics in that game.
You know something insane? Well, when I found that out and I dug a little deeper, Mario wasn't even in it until 3 days before they shipped it out. They were just like, we gotta slap Mario on this one.
Yeah, that was standard operating procedure for the late 80s, yep.
Yeah, it looks great. Ready to ship. Just put that Italian fella in it, and we'll be golden.
Hey, could you put one of them doctor coats on him, make him look smart?
He's a doctor now, guys. You know, he's a.
Man, I should.
All right, how about this one's a little more recent. This was just titled X, just the letter X.
Gonna give it to you?
No.
Well, you ain't gonna get it on your own.
This game's just punishment for the fact that we generally do pretty good in these. You've just made an impossible
Yeah, it is.
one.
That's correct.
XCOM Enemy Unknown.
No, this is actually Xenoblade Chronicles X.
For fuck's
Okay.
sake.
That's to be
It's just
fair.
called X.
That game has 2 X's in it, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. How about this one? Project Kid. This one's a little bit older as well.
Oh, is that
Chrono Cross?
Earthbound?
It is Chrono Cross. Yeah. Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you got it. Is that something from the game? I haven't played Chrono
Yeah.
Cross.
There's a character named
Okay.
Kid.
Oh,
That was enough for you. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I think at one point in the credits it's referred to as that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. This one I think is you might get adventure title.
Is that Uncharted? I don't know
No.
why. Oh, I felt like I'd heard that.
Zork?
before.
This was so I will start. This was originally called Adventure, and then due to discovering a licensing dispute, they called it Adventure Title, and then they changed it to its final name.
Is it Final Fantasy?
Legend of Zelda.
It is The Legend of Zelda.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Well, that was a bit of a
Yeah, the
bloody
game was
leap,
originally
wasn't it?
just to be called Adventure.
But that already existed as a text
It did
adventure
already.
game, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I'm glad
alright, how about
they changed it to Legend of Zelda because I don't know, Adventure Breath of the Wild just seems too vague to me.
Did you guys play Adventure Tingles Balloon Ride? I don't know.
What about Adventure Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land?
How about Prodigy?
Ooh.
This is a. I'll give you a decade for these. This is the 2000s.
Prodigy.
Prod-
Ooh. Is that Infamous?
Fable.
No.
Half-Life?
Nope. This was the name of the Prince of Persia.
Ah, okay.
Well, in development, yeah. How about this one? A little on the nose. Rainy Woods. It's in the 2010s.
This is The Last of Us 2.
Alan Wake.
No, you're close though. Ride that Alan Wake feel.
Silent Hill?
Imagine if Alan Wake didn't work or have any animations.
Slender Man.
No.
I don't think there's any rain in
All right,
Slenderman.
I'll give that to you. It's a Deadly Premonition.
Oh, okay.
This one here we're getting to the bonkers part now. Stainless.
What?
Superman
Mirror's
60.
Edge.
Mirror's Edge, yeah.
Dishonored?
Nope.
No?
Nobody's gonna get this, so I just tell you, there's literally no way. This was the working title for Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE.
Ah,
Made that
okay.
up. No, not true.
I did not. I investigated that too, and the reason it was called that was because they based a lot of the music off the particular style of one Japanese pop artist whose latest album was titled Stainless.
You really just made this
That
impossible for us
is
to win.
Atlas for you, yes.
Yes. All right, how about Rave War? You guys remember Rave War?
Rave War.
Is that Dance Dance Revolution?
that would be really good, actually. No, it's not.
Jet Set Radio. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm not gonna get.
No. Rave War actually eventually became known as Tekken.
Yeah, wasn't gonna get that one.
No. Here's our last one. No Truce with the Furies.
Wait, no truce with the furries?
Is that
What?
God of War?
The Furies. Furies.
Oh.
Furies. Like the Furies. Is not God of War. That's a good guess.
Is it footy?
No?
No? Okay.
What is that?
Kingdom
Oh,
Hearts. Why not?
No.
Kingdom Hearts can be
No-
named
no
anything.
truce
and I
with the
wouldn't disagree.
Heartless.
Or Valkyrie Profile.
Sorry?
I was thinking, would it be Valkyrie Profile?
This is a game from the 2010s. Sorry, I'll give you
okay.
a hint.
Odin Sphere?
No.
No.
Put us out our misery.
Kirby
Nirav.
Robobot? No.
No. You're not. It's Disco Elysium.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which, in retrospect, honestly makes even less sense than No Truce with the Furies.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, so I thought that might be fun for me specifically, and I was right.
So how many
Alright.
did we get correct? One?
You got two.
Oh, right.
You got Intruder and
Oh, yeah.
Adventure Title.
Of course.
Oh, and you got three actually because you got Chrono Cross. As
Yeah.
well. So that's three. Not bad. 3 out of 14. Is it bad?
I'll take that.
You know what, Nirav? I'm gonna question the legitimacy of this podcast because you won the Hall of Fame luster. You did a game.
This is a mega episode.
And then you
I don't
did
know
a
what to tell
game
you. This is
that
a
was
mega
impossible to win. You know what? Nah, stop the count. I'm not feeling this.
This is a
He's
mega
just gonna have
episode.
to
It's
play
not
Pub
game.
Encounter.
I'm gonna be the host next week. I'm taking over.
Excellent.
Oh,
I will
that
be
actually would
your,
make my life a lot
your,
easier.
your guest, gladly.
Blam!
So go blam.
It's me. Blam.
And Knuckles.
Master Chef and Knuckles.
This is Len Long from Pennsylvania. Okay. So, thanks Todd Howard, but actually, this time, for this one. For maybe the first time. So, yeah, you can find us at GameLuster.com. We have lots of cool stuff there. You can also find us at YouTube.com/GameLuster, and you can find us on Twitter at GameBustersPod. So remember, please, to go to the Apple Store and give us a rating there. 5 stars only. If it's less than 4 stars, I will stop the count.
If you can give us 6 stars, that would be a tremendous. Give us 17
That would be
stars.
tremendous.
We'll take that.
That would be huge. If we had 6 stars, it would be more stars than anyone's ever had.
I'm gonna call Mr. Apple himself and say that I'm just
Tim
looking.
Apple? No, not him.
I am simply looking for 11,000 reviews.
I'm simply looking for 11,000 more stars.
Star reviews.
Oh my god. So giveaways. Yeah, we do some of those. We had another one this week. Went well. So give us a follow on Twitter. You'll find some of those. So, why don't you guys just give me some plugs? So, Johnny, what are you working on right now, sort of content creation wise?
Oh, I'm working on a medical degree right now, so that's pretty fun. I also run a bad Twitter account, so that's pretty fun. See if you can find me. I'm always replying to the GameBusters Twitter.
So yeah, see if you can fucking find him. Johnny is the Liam Neeson's dad of this podcast. I think I might have said Liam Neeson's dad.
Yeah.
You did.
If you find me, I will immediately die because I'm shot by a paramilitary group. So get ready for that.
If you hurt me, Liam Neeson's dad is gonna beat you up.
My dad is stronger than your dad. Well, Liam Neeson's dad is strongest of all.
Okay. I have to figure out whether Liam Neeson's dad or Echoes of Gary is the title for this.
It could be a colon thing, you know. Liam
Echoes
Neeson's
of Gary,
dad,
colon,
Echoes
Liam
of Gary.
Neeson's dad.
Liam Neeson's turn into a fucking Tales of Berseria thing. Liam Neeson Quest 5 Echoes of an Elusive Dad.
Liam Neeson
Echoes of
game
an
working
Elusive
title.
Okay, Tim, what are you working on right now?
I'm gonna try and get out more console tours, get Kate in front of the microphone, and record some more introduction to plumbing soon, and whatever else we get up. Kate might be trying to start a new podcast soon, so look forward to that.
Yeah. All right, cool. And Jess?
I'm just waiting for Attack on Titan to finish so I can binge it all and review it.
Did you mean Attack on the Attackers?
Yeah, that could also do that too.
I would love to see Doom Guy in Attack on Titan.
It'd
Yeah.
be a short series. For the Titans, I mean.
They would run out of Titan. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It'd be called Remember the Titans, more like it.
Yeah. That movie is also very
we have
different
like
with the
19
Doom Guy in
potential
it.
titles for this
It's in
episode.
Echoes of the Titans.
Okay, Titan Quest 11 : Echoes of an Elusive Liam Neeson's dad.
Perfect. Got it.
Ship it.
Put
Rhea, how
Mario
about
in
you?
there, ship it.
Slap Mario on the box, those fucks will buy it.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things in the pipeline. Right now, Kate and I are playing through a pub-based dating game where you romance middle-aged men.
And I hear you've fallen in love with someone that looks a bit like me.
Yeah, it's a wild game. Pub Encounter is the best. So we've recorded one episode of that. I'm going to try and get out soon. We're also going to record.
Kate told me to do my Arden Izuni impersonation for you on the podcast, so...
You got it. That was pretty good, actually.
Why, thank you.
So
that was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get a few episodes of that out. Also, we're working on a spoiler cast for Cyberpunk 2077, because I'm sure everyone wants to hear more about that game in particular. So, yeah, stay around for that.
People have been bugging us. They've been saying, where is all the good content on Cyberpunk?
No one's
We haven't
talking
had
about
enough
this.
of
Todd
it.
Howard has been knocking down Nirav's door.
The silence from
You
Todd
make
Howard
it sound
on
like
Cyberpunk
I would try to
is
keep him out.
deafening.
All right, so yeah, we're I've got a video coming out next week, which I think tentatively is titled "Two Idiots Play Elder Scrolls Online," where me and Johnny, Ashley, and I we're playing Elder Scrolls Online, and it was just neither of us have ever played an MMO before, so I just decided to record that, and it turned out pretty good. So that'll be going up. We might continue it with like Two Idiots Play World of Warcraft and such in the future. Just not having any idea how MMOs work and being genuinely surprised every time we saw another person.
You can pretend it's 2005, you know? It's nostalgia.
Just consider it practice for once the pandemic's over. People? Other
Yeah,
people?
because before the pandemic,
People in my world,
I don't know
it's
if you
more
remember
common than
this,
you think.
but before the pandemic, you would walk up to people and you would just constantly be trying to go to the same checkpoints to receive some sort of quest.
Yeah, that's how it works around here. I don't know about you guys.
All right, so yeah, I also wanted to say that if you have any ideas for any games you want us to cover, hit us up on Twitter. Let us know. GameBusters Pod. We'd be happy to do that. Yeah, last word for the winner, I guess, which is me. I guess I'll just kind of close out on Shadow's sort of famous catchphrase here, just to honor him, which is let me see. He has a lot of catchphrases, actually.
I thought you were just
Chaos control.
I'm gonna kill
do
the
this one.
president.
I'm going to kill the president. No time for games?
That's the good one to end on.
Yeah,
Well,
good.
that's us off the App Store. Well done, Nirav.
No time for games? Did you say that we're getting kicked off the App Store?
Well, I was more leaning towards the "I'm going to kill the president" thing. I feel like
To be fair, that ship is sailed. We said kill the president like 6 times already.
we might as well make that the episode title, just to be more honest.
Like,
Liam Neeson's
here's our
dad
plan
kills
to kill
the president.
Echoes of an Elusive Age.
We are going to kill the president of the United States. That's the full episode title.
Well, I'm just going to be here in the Metal Wolf Chaos, taking back the United States from you coup d'etat forces, then.
I'm gonna, hold on. No, I'm gonna type in Shadow the Hedgehog quotes, and we're gonna end on a good one.
Oh shit, that's all going to be in the episode. I thought we were long gone.
No.
Oh wait, we're recording this?
Like, I'm still recording, but I thought this was,
I'm just looking for one that's sort of got like a good layer to it.
Hi FBI.
Oh, here's one from Mark my words, Black Doom. These so-called pathetic humans are not my enemies. I'm the coolest.
It's not real. Thing is though, because of all the voices that Tim does, like that's another free guest on top of that. So this is a lot.